Guys, it's video number 3 about the Bible decoding, and if you've been part of the Awakening, as many of you have been, for the past 5 years, since 2012, the end of time, and there's a buttload of videos out there, which I'll put some, I guess, in the description link right below, of people that started to wake up. We've had channels like Bashar, Abraham Hicks, who can talk to, I call them other dimensional consciousness, even other dimensional beings from different points of view, different parts of creation. That shouldn't be a weird thing to you if you're into the Bible, because Jesus did the same thing. Jesus was able to go out into the desert, pray, meditate, pull into his physical vehicle the information that people were looking for, and put it into words from his lifetime's point of view in such a way to teach you that you can do the same thing. So this is not woo-woo, this is not bizarre, this is not strange, this is something that we're supposed to learn, or don't have to learn, but something you can learn if you want to, and wake up to your physical body's ability not to just perform miracles, but to be able to be receptive and aware of other levels of reality that are just looking to be assistive, looking to help you and guide you and get you, walk with you and guide you to experiences that you want to have. So it's not really weird, it's not really crazy, it's on other planets, they do it all the time. You just shift your reality and you have new experiences. It seems potentially odd to humans because human beings are a little bit, and who wouldn't be, it's a beautiful planet, right? Overwhelmed by the 3D reflections coming at you, but those are just reflections from the sun to your eyeballs of what you've got going on in your reality up here and in here. So a lot of humans felt disempowered in their power and their ability to express themselves, which is what it pretty much comes down to. You know who you are, you know what you hear, you know what you see, you know what feels good to you, and on the most basic level, every person is walking their own path. I mean, everybody's in their own body, right? So there's no two people walking on top of each other at any given point in time. So just in acknowledging that, you can see how it's a true gift from the universe, from God, that each person has their own guidance system, their own likes and dislikes, and their own way of knowing what they love, knowing what they enjoy. Perfect, basic, boring example. Go to a store like Babies R Us. There are just piles of blankets, each ready and waiting for that newborn that hasn't even arrived yet. I mean, they're already there. It's already there before the baby's born, and one of those blankets are going to become like the next best friend or the first best friend of a soul here on earth. Now, if you can look at that really neutrally and be like, that's actually really amazing. We tend to look at it from a retail perspective, like, oh, I'm going to make tons of baby blankets and make money. Yeah, they're going to make money, whatever. Don't, just leave that aside for a second and look at it as pre-birth. The universe was already preparing itself to have this ready-made perfect blanket. Many kids call them blankies, for this child. And so when you start to flip it and see it not so much as greedy people in retail and commerce, and as we get better and better about being greener and nicer and gentler and not testing on animals, you know, and we're all doing that, then you start to see that this earth is consistently, moment by moment by moment, preparing for what you want. So that when you go looking for it, it's ready made. It's tailor made. It's sitting there. It comes to you in a nice and soft, gentle way. And that's I call it the glitch hitch. It's the glitch in a lot of human beings' perception of how, I'm going to make this dualistic, so please nobody get mad, but I'm going to split it into duality just so it's easier to look at it as a relationship thing. If you see it as the sun and the earth as hosts, because Jesus is the Lord of hosts, if you can see the sun as that higher mind that can see down the road where these babies are coming and these souls are coming through the light to visit earth and have a physical experience, and the earth is constantly, that was nice, sun and his blankie. The earth is constantly producing everything that those souls are going to need in advance. Like, your food's way grown before you get to the grocery store. And you can start to see it as a maternal and paternal, a parental gift that's always one step ahead of you to try to make it as easy as possible, the way parents do for their own kids. Then you can unhook from a lot of the greed mentality and a lot of the hate and a lot of the judgment. And as you break it down to really simple daily tools that we've been gifted with, it's so much easier to not just appreciate what comes to you all day, every day, your food and your housing and your job and the money and your clothes and all that, but it becomes a game you get to play in. So, for example, in my videos, I don't make any money off of this. I just do it because I want people to better understand the Bible. I want people to find what I found in the Bible, which is not just the joy factor, but the humor factor. God's really insanely funny. And if you don't believe that, just go watch some of the best comedians on the planet. Robin Williams, I miss you dearly. And if you can hear me in the ethers, I love you for being crazy like that. And start to find the already doneness of not just life on earth, but life all the way out in the cosmos, and see how we're all this one family communicating with each other. That's how compassionate we truly are. And we get really mad at each other or frustrated or pissed off or aggravated because deep down on a heart level, your cells even know that, like, wait a minute, it's all done. It's all here. It's all available. It's already set up. The fun part is the unfolding on a moment-to-moment daily basis, where you get to, if you're a singer, you get to, sing. Well, if you're going to sing, you're going to need what? Time. Eternity is an eternal now moment. And so how do you get to really dive in and embrace and love and savor different nows? Well, you need an illusion of time. You need the ability to be like this. Oh, I'm sorry, I've got to laugh. My fingernails are filthy. I didn't even know that. I've been out in the garden. And then you need this moment, and then you need this moment, and then you need this moment. So when you're singing, songs are really easy because anyone can hold a note even if you suck at singing. I like to sing, but I'm not that good at it. But you can be like, ah, ah. The enjoyment of the movement of vibrations, but they're all vibrations. So like, the best way to look at that is like, take a telescope, look at the stars. They move pretty fast when you're actually trying to watch them, though it seems like they don't move very quickly. But those fixed constellation and things are great examples of when whatever you want to call it, God, woke up and exploded to a certain extent. I won't say as far as it can because it's infinite, but exploded to this one particular level. It became self-aware, or it was self-aware. I'm going to screw this up. I can hear Bashar in the back of my head just saying, shut up, you're gonna mess this one up. So I'm going to try not to mess this one up. Just when consciousness became conscious, in doing so, one of the things, made it around that corner, one of the things that is, okay, hang on, I'm pulling the word. One of the things that is easy to comprehend when you're standing on planet Earth is that it becomes self-reflective, self-aware. Stevie Wonder, I know you're blind, and if you ever listen to this, I hope you do, because I hope you laugh. When you are self-aware that you exist, then you just sort of be in that. You just be in yourself. You're alive, you're breathing, you're feeling the water from the shower, you're enjoying the feeling of your clothes, you're enjoying the taste of your food. You can't see it, but you're experiencing it. You're experiencing the nourishment that's coming to you, coming to you, coming to you, coming to you. Now, some of you folks might be like, oh yeah, it's Stevie Wonder. He's a multi-millionaire. He can have whatever he wants. Yes, but you can't look at it like that. You are having your experiences, and you can appreciate them or hate them. That's a choice. And that's where teachers like Abraham and Bashar and Jesus come in. Now, my thing, I've been obsessed with the Bible since I could pick up a book. And that was a big book to pick up. I was like not even in preschool, and I was carrying a Bible and devouring it. And I didn't know why. I was obsessed with this book, and I was obsessed with the fact that something in my soul was like, the church missed a step. The church is off. Something's off in the church. And I love the church. I went to church every Sunday. Loved it. Talked to priests all the time, but still something in me was like, something's off, and I know it's off. And I want it to be on. I want it to be right. I want it to be balanced. I want to know that the God I know in my soul, I was to say, it didn't screw up, as if God could screw up, right? Well, what I didn't know when I was little was my life was a path of reading the Bible and all these books I've read, and going to college and going to schools and devouring all these other philosophers and devouring the Book of Enoch and studying Abraham Hicks and then studying quantum physics and then having my knee jacked up by a surgeon and then having to take all of these teachers. I used to hang out with Sikhs too. I never talk about that very much. And I love the Sikhs. So now I'm Sirikal. And I, spending time in an ashram, and that I was going to have to, not have to, but be given the choice to, do I want to believe what humans believe, which is fear, or do I want to believe and give all the masters a run for their money because I can't walk? And, I always talk about that. I couldn't walk. No doctor could help me. And most would be like, oh, that's just a, shtick. No, seriously, I couldn't walk. And it ain't a shtick, because in 2012, I can guarantee you, the last thing I cared about was making a YouTube video. The only thing I cared about was how do I fix my knee? How do I make sure I make it to the end of my life and I'm here for my kids and my grandkids if they ever have kids? How do I just survive, right? I was in monster-sized survival mode. Now, I remembered Osho, if you ever studied Osho, Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh, he always said, whatever faith you had as a child, deep inside of your soul, your childlike faith is like steel. You bought that. Go there. Don't go to the Buddhas. Don't go to the Jews. Don't go over here. Don't go over there if you didn't grow up with that. If you did, go there. But whatever you grew up with, your innocent soul God connection believes that undeniably. So I was like, I've got to go back to the Bible, because the only place that my soul is going to buy into a miracle happening to me personally, I mean, I'm nobody, right? I'm some single mom in Ohio, who cares? Was going to be in that book, and it was going to be in Jesus. So like I've told you guys a cajillion times, and I'll tell you so I'm blue in the face, Jesus showed up in my bathroom. My bathroom became full of light, and this gossamer dude, and he's a dude, I mean, he's a guy, he's a regular guy like you and me, who loves all of us, who also took on all of us, to teach all of us and help all of us. And he talked to me like I'm his little sister, and he was like, you planned for this, it's all good, I'm with you, this is part of your life's purpose. Now, being jacked up, unable to walk, I didn't believe him. How would I make this part of a purpose as a mom? That's insane. He's like, no, you're going to prove me. Well, that's nice. Who wants to do that? You already proved yourself. He's like, no, there's you, and there's a lot of other people that you don't even know about on the planet right here, right now, that you guys are all going to prove me. Your thing is to prove a physical miracle and prove how the Bible works, because you've been working on that for a long time. And I promise you, I will get you there if you listen to me. And it wasn't come follow me. He told me I couldn't follow him. There's nothing to follow. All he asked was just listen to me. Just hear the sound of grace. Just trust me. Trust this sound, this thing. And I was, part of me was like, what is that sound? I can hear it all the time. I'm like, but what exactly is that? It's the sound of creation. It has a sound. It has a resonance. It's amazing. And the way I would describe it I'm going to describe it two ways. Number one, if you want to describe it biblically, loving love. So creation explodes. You can see it as a human body, and it becomes self-aware. And those cells having self-recognition of a singularity have a note. That's what keeps the electrons vibrating. Now, if you want to look at it scientifically, we're now, yes, in quantum entanglement times, which I love quantum entanglement. Not that I like the experiments some of those scientists are doing, because they're really messing around with physics they shouldn't be messing with, because they don't know what they're doing. But it is at least giving some substantiality to grace. Because what it is if you take a particle and you split it in half, they always keep asking, how do these two particles from insane distances across space and time communicate, respond, and interact? Well, they're one thing. So even though you've, in a science way, it looks like you've done this, you've just pretty much stretched a rubber band. I mean, it may, from your perspective, look as though there's nothing between here. You can't disconnect the one. The one is the one is the one is the one is the one. So stretch it like a gumball in any way you want. It always has an innate, thank you, Cryon Lee Carroll, an innate wisdom of itself that humans haven't quite understood, that just let it be the one and it will play with you. But when you keep doing these crazy things, you're not really, yes, you're substantiating and proving that, oh, look, this can happen and this can happen. But what I learned with my knee was I had to do some crazy shit. I had to actually talk to plastic and metal that they put in my leg and screws and be like, hello, on some level, you're part of the one, and welcome to my body. I'm a one on a level. I'm a one of the one. I'm a one of the many of the one. So I need you to start having, literally, this is what I would do. You need to start having a communication with my DNA and all those cells that you're surrounded by, and they're going to train you who we are. And you're going to become malleable and flexible and mushy and soft and pliable, and you're going to, even if you still stay visibly plastic and metal, you're going to warp into the form of my original knee so that I can be double jointed again and we can do this fun stuff, because it's really fun to be me. I love being me. You're going to really like it. And the coolest thing that happened was, I am not kidding you, it was like talking to another universe on a telephone. They were like, it was like teaching children to trust, because they were as afraid of me as I am of them, because they're not supposed to be in there and they know that. Somehow the plastic and metal communicated to me that we're foreign to you but you're foreign to us. It's like meeting aliens, right? And I was like, yeah, but we can work out a oneness gig here. And we did. It was the softest, gentlest experience. There was no pain. My nerves grew back. My knee would drop in the softest, gentlest stuff. It started out probably this high off my kneecap started really, really like warped. You could see it. It was ugly. And it would just like slowly fall back into the place it was meant to be, and then slowly my knee went hyper extensive again. But it was never painful, it was never scary. It was just, for my brain, probably a little bit of a challenge, because my brain could feel the movement, and I'd be like, ah! 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 Sometimes it was a little bit, I don't know, what's that, wow? Like, whoo. But it just did it in a gentle, graceful, loving way where everything fell back into place. And I'll give you an example. Today I was rollerblading for 4 miles, and I ran into this guy. His name is Barry. He's 70, and Barry's like, how long have you been doing that? I'm like, oh, I used to do it forever, but then like I had this knee thing and I couldn't, and I've only been doing it again for like a year. And he goes, do you realize how youthful you look? I'm like, that ain't me. I mean, I'm sure this thing looks youthful, but that's me allowing my body to do what it wants to do, to be who it is. So as the Bible decoding number 3, I wanted to present in this video a lot of things, and here's the crux. Everything I want to give you is to please take out of my lifetime what I've been through. I mean, I've seen Jesus, well, for the past 5 years, every night. That's a lot of time together. And I wake up with him depending on where I'm sleeping. If I'm in my bedroom, he's standing by my bed. If I sleep on the couch, because sometimes it's hot, I sleep on the couch, he's sitting on the back of the couch, and these angels are everywhere. And I've been watching all the videos of Higher Self and the Awakening and everything, and he keeps explaining to me that each of these people posting on the internet have a piece of it. So I want you to take everything I've got to never doubt your connection to God again. Secondly, during my awakening, something that's absolutely 100% personal to me, and I know you guys have experienced it, some of you, is the music. And we've lost a lot of musicians. I say this all the time. I yell, I scream, I shout, I tweet at Bono, because I can hear Jesus holding him accountable in the background. Like, no, she's the real deal. I'm the real deal. I speak a lot of languages. I speak English verbally, but I speak light language, and I speak Bible language, and I speak eternal language now, which was probably the coolest language I've ever learned. But I also speak a language that I didn't know existed prior to my knee thing, which is the sun and the earth really are a brother and a sister team, hosting souls to be able to have a physical experience. And all of my life got written in song, and that freaked me out. And I have to keep listening to music to prove to myself I'm not making this shit up. But it keeps happening and 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 happening. And I was like, all right, Lord, that is probably the craziest thing I would ever say to another human being, because that makes me sound psychotic, right? Or it makes other people think you're psychotic, God. And he's like, no. The reason I want you to do this, and the reason I put you in all these songs, is number one, your life story lines up with all this music. So no one can deny that. I mean, you lived it, it's documented, you can prove it. So no one can argue with me that I actually took an agreement with the human being that I was going to lay you out in music. Number two, the sound of grace that you hear when you're healing is one note. And when I created you, Christina, I stretched you out and made your life a song. Not because you're so special, but because I don't want people to ever doubt me again. And I want a person other than Jesus in a book. I want a mirror of love on a different platform, music, that could prove love in a way that no one can deny it twice. I mean, you can deny the Bible, but you can't deny that some little girl potentially, randomly agreed to show up and let her life become a reflection of Jesus. Now, the internet's really loud and people really want a lot of attention and people want to be, rich and famous and all that. When I was little, all I ever wanted was to hear God and understand God and, I'm gonna cry, do right by God. I walked a lot of shitty experiences and he was always there like, no, come on. And so the music's only one thing I've been through. The other things I've been through is I can actually look at my linear timeline and see the quantum expanses off of it, not just through music. And I use U2 as an example because I don't listen to U2 in high school for maybe a few songs here and there. And someone gave me No Line on the Horizon after my knee thing. But the funny thing was that No Line on the Horizon came out in 2009. But actual physical stories of my life, my knee didn't happen until 2012, so this is where it gets really funny. Actual physical experiences where other human beings are a part of are written about in No Line on the Horizon, that I lived with these people, and I called one of them up. I'm like, dude, you have got to listen to this album. Our entire escapade is in this album. It is so funny. And he was like, shit. I'm like, I know. So I've got the joy of listening to Bono channel stuff into music that I've never met that man. He's never been in my life, but he has no idea that he's singing songs about my actual physical lifetime that no one would know about but me and a very small group of people. And that's been really fun for me. And so I talked to Jesus about it. I'm like, so basically what you're doing is you're substantiating your communication to humans in this lifetime, my lifetime, in this person's trust of you back to everybody else. He's like, yes, so you and I had an agreement that you totally fell asleep about to substantiate how the universe works through your lifetime so that people don't lie to other people anymore. He's basically tired of people making up bullshit stories about how God rolls. And I was like, all right, I'm down with that. That makes sense. So I thought it was just me and my knee and me and the Bible and me and you. But what you did was you took me and you and the Bible and you exploded it into everybody else. He's like, yep. So I've got, this channel over here and this channel over there and this channel over there and this channel over there, and put Christina in the middle, not because I'm special, not because I'm grandiose or any of that crap, but because I volunteered. And now my life has become this hilarious path of not just being able to decode quantum physics and the Bible and Jesus, but being able to be to say to people, please don't mess with God. I lived that. And I said, so how do you do that in a modern era where people are really egotistical? He's like, you just go gentle, you just be honest, you just be truthful about your story and about what you lived and how I sit in your room and on your couch and I talk to you and how we went out west and I reintroduced you to Native Americans and you remember being, white buffalo calf woman and they remembered you and He's like, you just prove quantum eternity by telling people that you lived it. And they have to trust their own souls and his communication with them so they don't doubt what they're getting. Because I don't think I would have made it through 5 years of everything I went through with just Jesus in my room. I really appreciated Lee Carroll and Cryon, Abraham Hicks, Esther Hicks, Daryl Anka and Bashar. Bashar, by the way, without your verbiage of some of the physics I was living, never could have wrapped my head around it. Thank you. The inside, outside, all eternal now, all the one. And then Mike Quincy, Suzanne Lai, and there's a lot of other channels, a lot of other people that have been posting on the web. I don't know who I am. Completely oblivious to the fact that in the background I'm working a physical miracle with Jesus going, you told them that? That's so awesome. So what I got out of this and why I post, and I'm going to keep posting about the Bible, is we're all perspectives of the same one thing, like a star with rays of light shining in all these directions, and now from this ray we're talking to each other back through all the different perspectives, so that our testimony, our witnessing, our experience, our proof of these channels, these communication lines, as people come in behind us, so-called rulers of the planet and people who've actually enslaved a lot of souls, they don't have that much power anymore. Their fears and all that, they just fade away, and the true life, the way we intended it on earth, of love and ability to do that, the ability to communicate, the ability to experience food, the ability to enjoy the blooming of a flower, the ability to be at peace and enjoy your children, the ability to swim in the ocean and meet a dolphin, the ability to enjoy the clouds floating by, that the purpose of earth itself gets reestablished. And that's the new heaven and the new earth that we've all been working on, not just for the past 5 years, but preparing for thousands of years. The other thing that I was guided to, and I'm not going to go into it deeply now, is decoding Egyptology, which was mind-blowing because I can remember being there. And so I started studying obelisks, and then I started studying the symbols and the pyramids. I was like, wait a minute, I remember this shit. Wait a minute, I remember this. So that's a whole nother, that's not even biblical, right? Except on the level when it says Jesus comes out of Egypt, that's a symbolic statement. It's more meaning that the light comes out of the darkness. So, all right, that's the beginning of Bible Decoding number 3. How whoever you are, if you're a channel, we're all in this together to post and share information, not just for each other right now, but to leave archives, just like Bibles are and books are, and scrawling on cave walls is to leave notes to ourselves so that when we come back, we pick up all that information and stay with the love campaign, the love joy going forward. So we keep establishing that vibration of grace and love forever and ever. Amen. Really, right? Yep. All right. Thank you for watching. I will pull some of the channels I watch and put them in the bottom. There's posts all day long, so be prepared if you subscribe. And please leave me any questions or comments. I want to thank again everybody that's posted over the past 5 years and written heaven letters and everything else, because there were moments in that period where I was terrified, and I made it because a lot of people kept posting stuff, but they had no idea how it was impacting a woman trying to pull off a miracle. So thank you, because I did it. We did it. Quantum now.